Oh man, oh gosh. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the throw in here on the TNC Sports Talk YouTube channel. Uh, I completely forgot last night that I dropped my camera, so the camera angles are all completely whacked up. I'm gonna have to fix that. I didn't give myself enough time this morning to properly fix that. What's going on, everyone? Happy Wednesday, January 18th. We have made it halfway through week 3 of this new year, and you know this one sits a little bit different. I don't remember the last time I had to use those 10 bell salutes for anyone in particular, but this one was well deserved. In a retrospect, unfortunately, getting the news last night. So it was yesterday evening, a little after 8 p.m. Eastern time where I'm at, that I, was checking my phone. I was kind of going through Facebook and just, kind of figuring things out, what I'm going to do for this morning, kind of getting the final preparations made. And then I discovered, oh, okay, this came across a tweet that was shared to Facebook, came across about the accident involving the one half of the Ring of Honor's tag team champions, one of, I consider one of the top elite tag teams in the independent circuit in professional wrestling, about Jay Briscoe. And I was like, is this as real? Is this real? You know, I, because a lot of times you get those little tweets or those false reports about something happening, and there was last week, there was the mistake of that one tweet that was or that one information that was leaked, that was to be false, about the WWE selling to Saudi Arabia. Well, I'm like, all right, so I'm jumping on the phone, I'm texting anyone, is this real? Is this real? I'm googling online, I'm checking Twitter feeds, I'm trying to get other sources, and it's slowly unforming. And I'm reading an article that, or a tweet that Tony Khan sends out last night, that confirming it, and I'm like, oh my goodness. And so it's one of those like, no, this can't really be happening type moments here, right? I mean, you don't want it to happen. It's so unsurreal, because just a name tied along to an incident like this, it's pretty, I don't know, it's kind of put me at a pause in the sports world. And listen, I've only had to, I've only gotten the privilege to really know the Briscoes, and specifically Jay Briscoe, over the past maybe 2 years since covering this sport on the program. There's he was part of the indie circuit for a long period of time. These are two guys who determined or defined their careers based off of working hard, pushing their way through, not decrediting anyone else who has done so, but more particularly to these two guys, they've been through, Hellstone and back several times. And finally, I would consider make it to the top of the region, and they were going great. And, it's unfortunate that, they never really got a break in AEW or in WWE. And it's unfortunate that, they really didn't get that top star talent, viewers to watch them because they're really, great, talented guys. Yeah, learning yesterday that Jay Briscoe, who was reportedly aka real name is Jermaine Pugh, and if I'm saying that right, he was reportedly involved into a car accident last night where two people died on the scene and two more people were taken to the hospital. Our wishes and prayers and thoughts go out to friends, families, colleagues, the sports world, professional world, who are kind of today mourning over the loss of Jay. Was only 38. Next week he was going to be 39, and I believe it was January 25th. I that information correct here. Let's play it. Together this morning. I guess I didn't read it all the way. So I guess that's what the morning this morning is gonna kind of handle us. And I'm like, oh God. So I'm not sitting here complaining. And I'm not trying to use the this scenario as a complaining moment, but man, 2023 just in what we cover and everything that's going on with sports. First it was the crazy scare from Damar Hamlin, who that really that stopped the entire world of sports for the past for that week, while he was recovering in the ICU. And then last week, it was the potential scare of WWE, quickly going through the process of selling the company to a name that I don't know if a lot of people feel comfortable with or even were even knew who they were. And then you come into halfway through this week, this is a pretty big impact in the professional wrestling world, in my opinion. These guys really shaped the tag team divisions throughout the independent circuit. And when I say independent circuit, I'm going to refer to anything that is beyond AEW, anything that is beyond WWE, and I would even, I guess, take it to anything that's beyond TNA, because these guys, as I mentioned, were known to go around indie circuits, New Japan. I'm just throwing names out there. I don't know if they're accurate, but Ring of Honor was heavily mentioned. But they would just go out there and they would take on anything and everything that was put in front of them, on regards. And last year, was kind of like their year, saying, all right, so maybe we're gonna be loyal, stick with a Ring of Honor. But listen, anything calls, we're gonna attend to. And man, I guess I can't wrap my head around the things that potentially could have been here in the near future that just wasn't here quite yet. So today, it's kind of, I guess it's kind of like one of those days again, that you're trying to just kind of make sense of it all. And like I said, it's surely a big a loss. And I don't know the direction that people are going to go in. It's happening in the middle. It happened in the middle of the week, so I'm assuming, hopefully for the next couple of weeks, we're seeing something in tribute. I'm pretty sure AEW is going to do something. TNA, Ring of Honor. Hopefully, I would love to see WWE do something along that line, and hopefully, pay some sort of tribute to him. But gosh, this is kind of some I don't know, some stealth breaking news coming out this morning. Um, trying to make sense, and we still want to keep the regular program on. Good morning to you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. Let's get our heads right now, I guess, here on a Wednesday, January 18th, 2023. Because it's Wednesday, we still got to get ready for our, start taking a look into the Bengals and the Bills game that we played this Sunday at 3:30 in Buffalo. I want to kind of start talking about this, team, game that's coming up. I'm a little scared. I mean, I'm seeing reports. I'm seeing, people are starting putting their bets, and they're saying, oh, Cincinnati's going to walk away with this one. The one thing that I'm kind of looking at as of this morning between the Bengals and the Bills game is that this is not so the Bengals and the Bills both have problems with their team. We saw that last week. We saw a lot of it last week. But the Bengals have the Bengals have problems compared to the Bills' problems. See, the Bills' problems they could fix. The Bills' problems are simple. They're not really dealing with injuries. They're dealing with simple errors, whether it's ball control, whether it's pass protection for Josh Allen, whether it's the run. The Bengals don't have that. They have different problems. They maybe have problems that they may not be able to fix, and they're even in a worse spot coming into this weekend than they were last year when they were heading into Tennessee in the divisional round. And so, I mean, I get worried. I get worried because, we're all jumping up. We're all saying, we got this. We could beat the Buffalo Bills. But see, this is not the same team it was 2 weeks ago. We don't really quite know the length and the health status of that offensive here. And, Joe Burrow, man, I love the kid, but he's only, he can only do so much. He could only do so much before it finally gets to him, right? And how many times can this guy go down before you're like, you know what? All right, you're gonna take a really good, he's gonna end up at like another Tua Tagovailoa, where his career is gonna be in jeopardy because he keeps getting hit. Young guys are capable of taking a lot of pain, but man, I tell you, something has to give. So we'll talk a little bit about the Bengals and the Bills today. I'm also going to focus a little bit on the Cincinnati Reds because I'm a little agitated coming into this morning because every corner you see in Major League Baseball is, every team has some sort of foot in the door of a free agent or of a deal. I was hearing about, last night, because Ohtani's going to potentially hit free agency next year, or, Ohtani's on the trade market next year, and the Padres are all in. They're putting all their chips in next year to get Ohtani. And I'm like, okay, where are the Reds? It's one thing to put your name on that market and be in the reports. Hey, the Reds are interested in X, Y, and Z, but then at the same, compared to not being interested at all, and we don't see this off season the Reds really making any deals whatsoever. So while the Cubs are getting better and they're picking up players, while the Cardinals are, making up for Yadier Molina and Albert Pujols, we see the Reds just twiddling their thumbs. And even to the point where guys like Will Myers, guys like, also, Ra- Ramen, who's returning back, Kevin Newman, they're not really blockbuster deals. They're not captivating me. So we'll talk a little bit about Reds off season. You got to remember we're less than a month before pitchers and catchers report. We're less than a month before the position players report. I know you guys, football is coming to an end and playoffs are still here, and I love the timing between the Super Bowl, and then all within that week, college baseball kicks off, Major League Baseball starts reporting. So I'm excited. I mean, I can't. I love, it's the back to back sports or the overlapping of each other, how close they are. So we'll be talking about that, starting to get ourselves ready for Major League Baseball, Cincinnati Reds, and so forth. AEW tonight as well. We have a pretty big match card here on TBS. A couple championships on the line as Jay Lethal will take on Orange Cassidy for the AEW All Atlantic Championship. TNT title is on the line. An open challenge given by Darby Allin, and Kushida has accepted that challenge. So we'll see that tonight. Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about that, break that down as well. I do want to still keep on promoting all week long here. We have a good friend of mine came to me last week with a project, and I'm excited to see this through. A written and directed by Terry Chappell II, presented by Enlighten Studios. Love's Not a Nut is a theoretical play about the lives and struggles, obstacles couples deal with, in today's time, well, with couples and friends and family, dealing with things like amputees and infertility. Love's Not Enough is a limited time theater play, hopefully to expand their region of where they're able to present the play at. But this weekend, January 20th through the 22nd, they will be playing at the Community Arts Center in Fairfield, Ohio. Tickets are still available. Orchestra seats are $30. The stadium and mezzanine are $25. If you guys are looking for something to do this weekend in the area, I'd highly recommend checking out this theater play. Yesterday we kicked things off with a couple of interviews. Today I would like to continue. I got two more presented for you guys. I understand the Wi-Fi was up and in and out a little bit throughout the interview, so we'll do an interview after coming back from break, and then we'll also do an interview at the top of hour number 2, talking you for the remainder of the show about sports and all that stuff. So, sorry. So, what a morning it has been. Honestly, if you guys are watching us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, we thank you. Welcome. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Be sure to follow, press those notifications, all that good stuff. We are also on all audio streaming platforms you can think of. Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify. If it's on there, you name it. And we're on a lot more. If you just Google the throw in on TNC Sports Talk. I was just talking to Steve Barber. I was actually on the Armchair Bookings Wrestling podcast the other night, and you could check that episode out on YouTube and all audio streaming platforms also. And we're talking about just where our show is being displayed, and we're on I think IDM also. So probably that's because we're talking about that, and he was like, "Oh, that's because you're on YouTube, probably." So um we're everywhere, so check us out. Also, just want to give a big shout out to a couple of places, because I know we get caught up in these interviews and you don't quite get a chance to really get in, give your thanks out. So I want to give a big shout out at this hour to StreamYard Studios, proud home of the TNC Sports Talk YouTube channel. Create your videos, business videos, podcasts, host for virtual business meetings, and conduct your interviews at StreamYard.com. All of our guests are presented by StreamYard.com. Check out their free version today. I like it because you could add guests, you could add overlays, you could add extra, share your screen to the camera, record, have the banners down below, insert small clips, play longer clips, um, everything. There's a lot available just at a click of a button, easy access, easy to maneuver around, not too complicated in StreamYard.com. Also want to give a big shout out to Spreaker, who provides our audio platforms duration. We are on Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, as I mentioned, but they also allow us to monetize these our programs that are being displayed audio wise, and kind of start making a little bit of a kind of see your progress, and you'll get in a sense compensated for it. So Spreaker, I was introduced to that by Steve, so I'm pretty excited to be able to use that and continue to use that. So we'll give a shout out to that. All right, let's take a timeout, and we'll come back, and I'll give you another play, and we'll come back and talk some sports here. You guys are listening to the Throw-In on a Wednesday morning right here on the TNC Sports Talk YouTube channel. Anyone can take away from watching this play next weekend? What is one thing that you want the audience to take away? We'll start with D here in that, and we'll just jump on right over.
Okay. I want the audience to take away the idea.
Alrighty. Well, it looks like we have the wrong screen video playing. Well, let me get to the right one here. Share video. There you go. Alrighty. Welcome back. Sorry, I had the wrong video. You guys up in playing, so we're gonna get the right one going. Love's Not Enough. Directed by Terry Chappell II. Written, presented by Enlightened Studios. Here's an interview that I had over the past weekend with them. What's going on, everyone? Justin here from the TNC Sports Talk YouTube channel. I want to take this time and promote an upcoming play that is presented by Enlightened Studios, written and directed by Terry Chappell, and that's called Love's Not Enough. That will be featuring beginning this Friday at the Fairfield Community Arts Center, 411 Wessel Drive, Fairfield, Ohio, and that is area code 45014. Love's Not Enough is assembled with a cast of seasoned actors who will tell the story about the struggles of three besties, Rachel, Courtney, and Carla, and their spouses. Together, they endure the conflicts of life and its dose of reality. These couples truly believe that love alone will sustain them through the difficult times in their marriage. They slowly learn through their own stubbornness that it will take more than words and feelings to keep their marriage alive. This performance is 100% true, except for the parts that are created for a little sense of humor and drama. Love's Not Enough shines a light on difficult subjects such as the not so shameful topic of male infertility, the struggles of an amputee, the exposure of deep family secrets, and overcoming pain caused by religion. Get ready to experience the roller coaster of harsh realities with moments of tear-jerkers and joyous celebrations. There will be 4 plays that will be presented starting on January 20th at 7 p.m., Saturday, January 21st, 2 p.m. and 7 p.m., and Sunday, January 22nd at 2 p.m. Now, I've been given the opportunity just to sit down with some of these cast members and talk to them and pick their brains. about what it's like getting into theater. And one thing I could tell you that this has been a diverse group of men and women of all ages, from kids to adults, people with vast experience in theater to even upcoming first time theater cast members. I highly recommend, if you guys are in the area and you guys want to check out their play, is very sensational, and it will leave you with the direct message, captivating every moment. Love's Not Enough, presented by Enlightenment Studios, written and directed by Terry Chappell II. I encourage you guys to head out there, check them out, and I hope you guys enjoy these upcoming interviews that I have on display for you. Be sure to check out all the information in the worlds of sports at the TNC Sports Talk YouTube channel. Thank you. Alrighty. Well, we are talking with here Andrea, correct? And Dee, both involved into the upcoming play Love's Not Enough, that's coming, that'll be played on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Thank you guys for joining me. How you guys doing this evening?
Thank you. Doing pretty well. It's Friday night, and the Bengals will be playing on Sunday, so I'm very happy.
Yes, absolutely. I'm doing great, trying to stay warm, and looking forward to next week.
Absolutely. Oh, great. I'm having microphone issues and everything. So just, this place coming up, it's, we're just talking about it before the recording, and there's a lot of, it's right around the corner, December hit, the holidays hit.
Yes.
And what are the preparations like? We'll start off with you, Dee, like getting ready, mentally ready for this. You guys are performing it 4 times over a 3-day span. So kind of what's the preparation like going on for you for the next couple of days, getting ready for the performance of Love's Not Enough?
Okay. Well, we are looking forward to setting up the stage, getting it prepared for the cast to come on board and get their stage blocking and everything that needs to be done prior to the performance. A lot of props, a lot of lighting, staging, making sure that everyone is on cue, so that it does flow nicely, and it becomes really connected as far as the story of the Love's Not Enough. We have been working on this for so long, and getting the right cast members involved with the play and with the performance. We have put a lot of time and effort in auditioning, and so now we have come to the pinnacle point where we are ready to perform this piece. It is inspiring, it is uplifting, and it has so many great messages that we want to bring the audience, so that when they are leaving the auditorium, they'll be talking about it for the future.
Yeah, definitely excited about this upcoming play. Like I said, it's Friday, January 20th, and it'll go on through the 22nd. Now, on the 21st, which is Saturday, you guys will have one at 2 p.m. And one at 7 p.m. How do you guys, I'll go just one after the other, how do you guys get mentally prepared for those consecutive performances? And especially for you play Carla, okay, who's friends of Rachel, and there's a lot of stuff that's going on in Carla's, as in Carla's character, right? You're pregnant, right? You're dealing with having to deal with your lover in the Air Force who is now across seas. Now you're also searching for your biological parents. There's a lot of complexion going on into this, character alone. How do you mentally sustain yourself, heading into knowing, hey, I got to do this for four times within a 3-day weekend?
Yeah, that's a great question, Justin. And it's funny that you even asked me that because I've been thinking about it. But I have previous experience in this where I've done plays and I had to do the show twice in one day. And when you asked about like mentally preparing for it, some parts of Carla I have actually lived. Some time ago, I did have a relationship with a man that went overseas. Actually, he was in the Afghanistan war. So I draw back from those memories, and I include that into this character. And then even playing as a person who was looking for their parent, I have I have a parent who kind of went through this experience where they found out who their real father was later on in life. So I draw from that personal experience into this role. And spiritually speaking, I pray and I attend church, and so that just helps me to be centered on why I'm doing this, to bring forth that message of love, hope, dedication, and peace too, because Carla is like this bridge person. She brings everybody together, even though she has a lot of different trials. And again, I just draw back on previous experience in my own life to bring forth this character.
Mhm.
Dee, your role here is not mainly so on the screen, right, or on the stage. It's more so in the
Correct.
background, making sure that everyone has what they need, or
Mhm.
whether it's calming someone down, rehearsing someone's line, or even like
Mhm.
you said earlier, making sure the stage is right, making sure the angle of the lights are correct. When it's shining down on someone.
Mhm.
What keeps you together? Because I know that could be very well overwhelming. I know you got a great team. Terry is a great guy, and he helps everyone out. But that's a lot. So how do you keep yourself composed going into this coming up weekend?
Well, the one thing that I work on is a game plan from the beginning. It does take the entire ensemble to come together and give their best performance. And as an acting coach, I find that sometimes I need to uh, give them some direction, or maybe mentor the actor on certain scenes that they're in. We want to see their best. And sometimes it does take a little bit more digging into the character's background because they are playing someone else. They're not playing themselves. So that piece of it does take a lot of planning and processing. And so the bottom line is when you see the play and you see the characters start to really come together, that's the very important piece. Anytime you're doing a play production, you definitely want the characters to give us a sense of being authentic to the roles that they do. So if we have several of the actors that may find themselves struggling a little bit, we try to give them something that will allow them to think more about digging more into that character. So that's what I look for. Of course, I won't be a spectator. I will be the stage manager in the background.
Yeah.
So I'm really expecting the actors to do their job when they get on stage, because that's what it is. We are a ministry, and we want to make sure that we give everyone an idea of who these characters are. Hopefully, some of the audience members will be able to give their opinion. We look forward to that because anytime we do a production, we definitely want the feedback from the audience. So I'm looking so forward to these young people to do their job and to enjoy what they do, because that's ultimately our goal, is to make sure that we show Love's Not Enough as a something to talk about, so that we can continue to do all 4 performances and just don't miss a beat. That's the main thing. And hopefully we get to a point where we'll be able to take it to other cities. So drawing from these characters, it's important that they draw from each other, that they work their scenes out together. It will take all the way up to showtime for every actor to be there on their A game. And so that's what I look for. And believe me, Carla knows, I stay in character with actors. I don't use their God-given name. I use their character names, call on them. So stay in character. It's important to keep your focus on scene and your scene work. That's the big thing for me.
So one thing, you're helping not just, people like Carla, who's done this plenty of times before, but, I've even spoken to, Dr. Benjamin Banks, who has maybe had less experience. Is there, different techniques? What's best? Okay. I mean, what let me put it this way. Sorry. What's best advice you could give out, to a new actor that's maybe trying to find their way into, the acting business?
Right. Well, technique is very important. What I really draw from is the method acting of actors. Method acting allows that character to pull from certain parts of their lives. Just like Carla said, that's part of the whole process when you are acting. You have to use substitutions in the role that you're in. So that means that if there are uncles or aunts or sisters or brothers, anybody pretty much in your circle that you can pull from to give the authentic characteristic of that person. And I always look at method acting is just a way of keeping yourself grounded. And I always tell the actors, stay in character, especially when we're rehearsing, because it can be so easy to get out of character in between the scenes.
Yeah, we as we're coming up here on January 20th through the 22nd, Love's Not Enough. Carla is a good friend of Rachel. One thing that, you said you've done this before, and Dee's mentioned, it's given advice about acting, about influencing others. There's a big not I wouldn't say diversity, but there's a long range of, young kids to, older adults playing important roles, and to giving Love's Not Enough its proper image, right? Carla, you've done this before. What is how do you go into a play and trying to leave back something that you could pass along to the younger kids are trying to also try to figure out, hey, is this what I want to do growing up as well?
That is another good question too, because I've mentored people in the past, and one of the things that I tell them with anything that they want to do is make sure this is something you want to wake up to, not something that, oh, okay, I'm good at, but you don't have that passion. It doesn't make you get up in the morning and you're like, yes, I'm going to do it. So with acting, it should be something that you look forward to, putting on screen life experiences from your own personal life or others. If you enjoy doing that, enjoy bringing forth a message, or just want to shine a light on a particular topic, I say go for it. That's where the stage is. The stage is for that. The stage is for to show forth life experiences. It's a place where you can teach people something that they never seen before. I think about some of the movies that I've watched in the past. It was a movie, and I kind of forget the name, but it was about these Black engineer women, and I didn't even know about it. And Taraji Henson, she did such a great job in that role that I end up uh, looking it up online. Like, is this really a true story?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, and I ended up finding women at that time when the movie showcased they were still alive. So I was like, "Oh, this is awesome!" And then, I ended up finding out one of the ladies, she won an award because of that. Had they
Yeah.
not put on that movie, that woman wouldn't have got recognized, and none of us would have known the wonderful achievements that she has done. So
Mhm.
that's kind of my thing to future actors. Remember your purpose on why you're in front of the screen. Is this to show forth life experiences, or to teach people things that we don't know?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now,
Mhm.
I do want to. I think I believe the movie you're referring to is called Hidden Figures.
Yes.
Yes.
It's a
Hidden
great
Figures.
movie. I love it. I got to watch it at least once a month.
Yes.
That's how I am.
Yes.
All right, so here's a final question. I'll leave off for both of you guys. This is a very suspense play that you guys are going to be producing here. Like you mentioned, you're hopefully that this builds across, and you guys could go on a tour with this. And but what is one thing, if anyone can take away from watching this play next weekend, what is one thing that you want the audience to take away? We'll start with D here, in that, and we'll just jump on right over.
Okay. I want the audience to take away the idea that this is a true story. Uh, it gives hope, and it gives possible endurance into the lives of several couples. There are 3 couples that are giving us their complete interpretation of the sanctity of marriage. Marriage is very important. And the one thing that I see in many couples is that sometimes you navigate through the difficult times, but you also have to know how to come together, and you need to know how to love each other. That's when they say love's not enough. Love is not enough. So we have to make sure that we convey that to the audience, and show them some of the things that they can possibly work on. And the work has to begin with God. God is the ultimate the ultimate that we look for in a relationship. And if you don't have God, it can be a difficult journey for you. So that's really what we are trying to give the audience. We want to bare our souls on what it is that we have gone through in many cases. And as I said, you have 3 couples that are working through their obstacles. So let's just, have fun with it, enjoy it, and hopefully a great message will come from it that the audience can take with them.
Yes, and I just echo the sentiments of Dee, just in the fact that love is not enough, but God is the unifier of it all. And I love how Terry has not only different couples, but they come from different ethnic backgrounds, different even financial backgrounds. They All of them have different things going on, but it shows that they all still need God. And that is the common denominator with everyone in the play, is that we all lean on the Lord, regardless of what we look like, regardless of our age, regardless of our life's trials. We all need the Lord. And I hope that anyone who's watching this play can see that, that it is God, and that's what brings us all together. And then that's what helps us deal with our life situations.
Well said. Love's Not Enough. It's a limited time only. You guys got to check them out, January 20th to 22nd. Hopefully, like I said, based off of the feedback that you guys get, you guys can take this on a tour, pass on the message all the way around the world.
Absolutely.
And
And then one other thing, get your tickets, because tickets are on sale right now. If you cannot use the QR code to get your tickets, then by all means contact Fairfield Community Arts Center. Contact them directly, and you can buy your tickets through them, or you can buy the tickets at the door. So please, please, please come out, support Enlighten Studios. This is a big event. We weren't able to do it during the COVID times that we tried to put the play up, but we had to postpone. So this is the opening night on the 20th of January.
So quick question about the tickets real quick. You mentioned you could get them at the door. Is there an upcharge compared to getting them online?
There is an upcharge. So if they can get them online, it would be better. From my understanding, there are 3 different tiers of tickets.
Yes.
There's the $20 ticket, 25, or let's see, what is it? 25, 30, 35? Is that it, Andrea?
I was told $30 for orchestra, 25 for both stadium and matinee.
Correct.
$20
That is correct.
for one of them, but that's what I was told.
That is correct. So if they go online, they will probably get a little bit of a discount. But if not, check with the ticket office because they are taking phone tickets, and they're doing phone ticket sales as well.
Okay, well, thank you for that information and clearing
You're
that
welcome.
up so everyone knows. Thank you so much for you guys for joining us and joining me, giving us your time, and I wish you guys best of luck next weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you, Justin.
Thank you.
We appreciate you. Okay.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
All righty, Love's Not Enough, presented by Enlighten Studios, will be displayed this coming up weekend, January 20th, just in 2 days, if you think about it, through the 22nd. Listen, I had a blast talking to these guys. I really did. And it's something, it was a project that I think for the first time doing projects like this, I really came in very nervous. And as you can see, I try to fix my camera. It looks a little tilted, so I'm going to have to continue fixing it again throughout the show. Like I said, last night I knocked it down. But, man, I really encourage you guys just to step out, get out, even if this is not your comfort zone. This was not my comfort zone. It has been a while since I've done an interview for anyone. And so to be able to do an interview for, a good friend of mine, and Terry, who's written and directed this play, and just getting back out there. See, and I was approached by this prior to the actual, before doing the interviews, and out there, people were telling me, like, why are you taking on a project that's non-sports related? Why are you doing interviews? Well, let me tell you something about this program. All right. It's, this program is going to tackle on anything, as you have seen in the past, we've done interviews. We try to do interviews about people related to sports, right? It doesn't matter what kind of sports, but sports related in general. So we do interviews in regards to, anything. Arthur's books, we had a couple great guests on in the past, but this one here, just really, like I said, it stepped outside my comfort zone, and it's local in Cincinnati. I would definitely want to support the, Cincinnati community and things that are going on. So I definitely, took this opportunity and is trying to support and hopefully bring whoever is listening to this throughout the week to this play. Now, I don't know who's going to actually take this information, go with it, and say, all right, let me go ahead and be a part of this play or go watch it. I hope at least out of this entire week, one person goes, please. And if you do, let them know I sent you. All right. But I think I think this project was meant more all around than just dealing with, just sitting down and promoting Love's Not Enough. You think about this. This is a revamped version of Terry, what Terry created back in 2019. It's a platform for these theater cast members to one get their voice heard. You don't realize maybe this interview could help them prepare for future interviews down the road. It could mentally and physically help them prepare for the performance coming up this weekend. And you never know. This also helps me. It's been a while since I've done interviews. It's been a while since I have really broken down and had someone on this program. So it's kind of like in a sense of, all right, let's give it back. Let's give back a little bit, right? Let's give back. Let's, try to, work on getting interviews. Let's try to practice, because the goal is that I understand doing a show from 6 to 8 in the morning. You think about this is being on the East Coast. You think about people that are on the West Coast is 3 hours earlier. Getting guests on my program is limited. A lot of times I'm going to have to do interviews as a pre-recording and then upload them. And then you run into what we saw at the beginning of all this, where we had some buffering issues. And I apologize for those. I wish I can go out and fix all of them. We never had it, but it all depends on the internet connection. But I've had a blast. It wasn't the subject that I wanted, or intended for, and it's something outside my comfort zone. And I think it's always good taking that risk, getting outside your comfort zone, trying to figure out exactly what's going on. And you either fail, you or you succeed. But see, I've learned a lot. Not just from these group of men and women who I got a chance to talk to, but I learned about a lot about what I could do better, and what I could change. And in this type of category of doing podcasting and hosting shows, this is part of that work. It's like doing some PR work and whatnot. So I had a blast. I learned a lot. A lot of support. People listening to this and sports fans may be thinking, "Oh, what are you talking about? A ridiculous play." It's not a ridiculous play, you guys. It's called Love Not Enough, presented by Enlightened Studios, and it's a community thing. I live in Northern Kentucky. It's a good friend of mine who going to have a performance up in Fairfield. I mean, I think it's another statement, to be able to believe in yourself so much to actually follow through with something. It's like waking up every morning and coming on here, putting on a show. It is easier said than done, especially going live. It's easier said than done. We cover the world of sports. Podcasts compared to a show is a little bit different. Podcasts, you can sit there, figure out what you want to talk about, have maybe all your ducks lined up in a row, right? You could talk about whatever you want to talk about, and you could record it. You can record it as many times as you want. You can make it as perfect as you want to do it. But one thing that I've learned about doing these live shows, which I love so much, right, that I enjoy so much, is the fact that you could come on here. You got to do your homework, right? You got to have notes on notes on notes, of information, stuff that you can go off of for stories and whatnot. You got to have statistics, and I got different notebooks here for different subjects, for all that fun stuff, just for a program. And you don't even know if you're going to use any of it, because at the end of the day, it's about books. It's about the actual live story. We're getting live feeds. All right, before we cut to a break, I gotta fix this camera. It's gonna bug the hell out of me because it's crooked. go. All right. Maybe. All right. I think I'm going to be satisfied with that for now. Gosh. I I appreciate it, you guys. I had to. It was lopsided when I knocked it over last night, and I knocked it over last night, put it back up. I was like, I'm gonna fix this in the morning. Logged in, completely forgot it was crooked left. You saw the entire ugly background. No good. And then when I fixed it during the interview, man, that's a whole nother story. All right, hour number one complete. When we come back, I want to take a break from the interviews. We'll go back to them. I want to talk some football because, hey, we got to get ready for the Bengals and for the Bills this weekend. But, yeah, I got to play that because you guys listen, there are struggles and troubles going on with the Bengals and for the Bills, too. And we'll break all that down coming here on the hour number two. So stick tuned. Hour number two coming up next here on the TNC Sports Talk YouTube channel. Shoreline Serenidad by Dio. Available on Epidemic Sound. I want to give a big shout out to Epidemic Sound, where you can discover your world-class artists, composers, and bands, find the perfect soundtrack, and give your social media accounts the music they deserve. Epidemic Sound is a royalty-free music link. For more information, check out epidemicsound.com. I want to give a shout out to them. Listen, I love playing music, coming back from breaks and whatnot. I think it fills in the vibe, you guys. Welcome back here on a throw-in. 7:05 here in the morning. Trying to make the most of today. It reminds you that today is just a blessing. After hearing some of these good interviews from Love's Not Enough's cast members, unfortunately hearing the saddened news that broke the world last night, this morning, as we find out that Jay Briscoe, one half of the Briscoe brothers, passed away last night. And, listen, in a car accident. And like I said, it's just every morning is such a blessing. You wake up, getting a chance, and, that's kind of what kind of what you go by and what you live off of, right? I never like to leave anyone without saying bye, I love you type stuff. I never want to, go to bed angry, and man, because you just never know what happens and what's going to unfold and unravel that day, especially as hard. I mean, and I don't know, maybe for me, I don't necessarily think or quite believe the understanding or the reality of the, passing of Jay Briscoe. Maybe I don't, we don't even know what's going to happen to, Mark, who celebrates a birthday today. They were a brother. They were 1-2 combination. They always have been. So to be able to now kind of take a step back and think how how a single career, if he continues wrestling, how that's going to unfold and work. So, we wish and we send our thoughts and prayers to the friends and families of Jay Briscoe of the Briscoes, and as they have to endure this loss. They're not alone. Seen a lot of reports from Ring of Honor, from AEW, Tony Khan, even Triple H went out and said something. Listen, I mentioned at the beginning of this program, Jay, a big, he's a big, they were a big part of the independent, circuit. They've kind of shaped it to what it was today. They set that standard and that bar for the tag team division. And I don't know, listen, you compare, you want to think of or consider some of the greats of, independent, wrestling, the Briscoes are up there. And I consider maybe the top 10 of all, elite of all time. I'm talking all time. WWE, AEW back from day one. You could probably consider them in the top 10. I don't know about you guys, but that's the news coming out of this morning here. All right, before we jump into anything with Cincinnati, I want to give you a look around the local sports updates here in the Cincinnati area. Last night, the Kentucky Wildcats defeated the Georgia Bulldogs in the NCAA men's basketball, 85-71, putting up 51 points in the second half to come back and win. Oscar put up 37 points and 24 rebounds. What a big game from him. Cason Wallace puts up 17 points. Both Jacob Toppin and Antonio Rivas puts up 11 points. Toppin also had a rebound night to remember, 11 rebounds as they go on to win. Wildcats move on to 12-6 on the year, 7th in the SEC. Their next game will be on Saturday against Texas A&M. Congratulations to the Wildcats for picking up a victory last night. All right. Hey, some basketball still playing because it is Wednesday, January 18th. Xavier Musketeers will be at DePaul tonight at 8:30 in Chicago. They're set away to square off, tip off. Musketeers coming in 15-3, undefeated in conference, 10-1 at home, undefeated on the road. So we'll see if the Musketeers can continue that. Coming up, the 1-2 in the neutral sites. Ohio Buckeyes play tonight at Nebraska after losing to Rutgers in overtime back on Saturday, I believe. No, Sunday. Nebraska will be played at the Lincoln at the Lincoln Stadium at 7 p.m. Tonight. Sorry, just captivating all my notes here. The Bearcats will have a game coming up tonight as well, I believe. Yep, they're playing South Florida and Tampa. Tip-off is at 7 p.m. as they are coming off of a impressive victory over SMU, 54-52 over this past weekend. A big game, third double-double over the weekend from Landers Nolly, looking to get his fourth coming in to tonight. Like I mentioned, in Reds baseball, we'll probably finish off the show with that, but I want to talk about the pitchers and catchers reporting February 15th. The rest of the position players will report February 20th, just right after Super Bowl. So we're kind of getting into it. 6 players over this past weekend also signed arbitration contract and avoiding arbitration by signing deals. Something I want to mention out of coming into with the Cincinnati Reds, and we talked about, I want to talk about it. I don't know how much time I'll have after the program, but listen, all right, this is how I want to portray this. We have been sitting around, okay, and it's kind of just frustrating me. It's really just aggravating me how we're sitting around and off season is almost over. And the goal of the off season is to pick up, you're obviously, there's free agencies trying, that are leaving the organization. You're trying to find the right coaching staff who can give you that momentum going into the season. But the overall in the off season is the time that you need to try to create a winning roster to help your organization succeed and excel, exfoliate. And okay, so we picked up a couple of people, Randy, Will Myers, Kevin Newman. We just welcomed Luke Weaver. But who are those guys? And there's no decredit to guys like Will Myers, but who are they? Who are they to the Reds organization, and what do they bring that can elevate this team from last year's under 500 to getting back to 500? The number one step into the number one goal for any organization is about getting to 500 baseball, maintaining at least a 500 baseball record. That means you got to finish off the season 82 and 82. We watched the Reds unload their roster last year, getting rid of a handful of guys: Jesse Winker, Tucker Barnhart. Okay, getting rid of Nick Castellanos, Eugenio Suarez, Tommy Pham got traded last year. Luis Castillo got traded last year. Mike Moustakas, which I think that's the only, I mean, I can support off of that, got DFA'd this offseason. But what are the Reds doing? All right. I lived in San Diego all my life, and for the longest time, I thought they had a pretty good product on the field. They've always talked how they had when they went up against other teams, on paper, they looked dominant. You had guys like Adrian Gonzalez, Brian Giles, Carlos Quentin at one time, Derek, Norris at one time, James Shield at one time, Matt Kemp, Craig Kimball, and Greg Maddux, Chris Young, some of the greats coming through the organization. Guys like that. Kevin, Chase Headley, Kevin Kuzminoff, Khalil Green. I grew up on those guys, right? Jake Peavy, for example. But the one thing that kept, and I was always frustrated, and I always had hope for the Padres. And the reason why I had hope for the Padres is that, they'd make maybe some unrational decisions and make some decisions that we liked and we didn't like every team does. But one thing that we could get away from was that they were always in the conversation. There was always a conversation tying back to certain players. All right. Where, take it, for example, the Padres this season. All right. They have a team. They're trying to go out and win a World Series. They came close to, they went to the NL National League Championship, NLCS. And I'm completely, I'm happy. I'm satisfied with them. And I'm, I want them, to do well. But one thing why the Padres are so successful is that every story that comes out there, the Padres are affiliated with. Right. And then it's the stories that it's the deals that they're making that they're not affiliated in that stories. We're, talking about guys like Eric Hosmer. We're in the hunt for Eric Hosmer, in the hunt for, trying to pick up, the Padres always seem to be in the hunt. And the issue that we're coming out of Cincinnati is that, listen, we know that we're not going to spend money. I think that's given prior to the offseason. But at the same time, it's, if it would make me feel comfortable and make me feel maybe confident that at least the Reds are making an effort and trying, if they can at least be in the stories. If you look at the rumors about free agencies and what team is looking at who, you don't see the Reds anywhere on that list. There's no name that is affiliated with the Cincinnati Reds heading into, in this offseason as a free agent, as a trade, whatever the circumstances is. That's a problem. How can you be, Aroldis Chapman is in the Miami Marlins is talking about Aroldis Chapman. Now, I don't know if Aroldis Chapman is going to Miami or not, but just the fact that the Marlins are tying their name to that guy. Okay. The Padres are tying their name into Ohtani next season. That's the statement right there. That's where we need to be at. I don't care at the end of the day if we get these guys, get these players or not, because I honestly do know where the Reds are at today. They're going to win with what they can work with and who they have. And they're not going to go spend extra money. And I get that, even though, it's frustrating to watch the Reds knowing the potential they have, knowing, if you go out and you pick up a couple good starters or relievers, that you could be just that much better. Wilson Contreras was on the market. The fact that the Reds could not even be in the conversation of Wilson Contreras. Eric Hosmer is on the roster. The fact that you cannot, I mean, you're okay. And we know that the Reds are not good enough to just settle in whatever players they have on the field. And yes, the Reds have a couple, their bullpen and rotation. They need some work. They can't rely on younger guys, especially the rotation, in that rotation, one or two veterans that they may pick up in a month, hopefully, crossing fingers. But, listen, it's frustrating when you look in, when you type in Cincinnati Reds, or you go to the Major League website and you see a list of free agencies, and then you see the teams of each individual players that kind of potentially want them, and you don't find a Reds name or Cincinnati tie along to any of those. That right there for me is I would say a slap in the face in a sense. It's like, there's no effort being made as a fan. And I will tell you this as a fan, and it's unfortunate, I apologize in advance, but as a fan, you guys, we have, if we see ourselves attempting to make an effort, regardless if we do or not, then we could put ourselves in a position for better success. Man, it's frustrating to see that. All right, gonna step aside. We're gonna come back. I want to talk some Cincinnati Bengals football. Yes, we're still gonna get to the interview. Yes, we're gonna, hopefully we can talk about AEW a little bit. We may have to put a pin in that as we approach that maybe tomorrow. All right, don't go nowhere. TNC Sports Talk. Don't go nowhere on the TNC Sports Talk YouTube channel. The Throne will return right after this. Alrighty. One thing I don't realize is maybe I'm poorly deciding and answering putting on these interviews, but one thing that I don't notice is that these interviews take up some time, including breaks and whatnot. So try to get that at the 30-minute mark in about a few minutes. But I want to talk about Cincinnati Bengals football here as they get ready for the Buffalo Bills this weekend. The Buffalo Bills picked up a victory last back on Sunday, 34-31. And I think this game was a little bit more fair given. Kind of, the Bills kind of gave up a lot of stuff, a lot of points, especially that, the Bills were out, 17-0 first half. And then at the end, Miami found a way to find life and get back into the game by, scoring 17 points, unanswered points, and that's kind of concerning. I think you give more credit for Skylar Thompson, but he didn't even throw 50% of his quarterback completions. 220 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. And I mean, for me, that's acceptable. Right? Skylar Thompson is that third string quarterback, and some third string quarterbacks are successful than others. Brock Purdy is one of those examples as the 49ers are advancing, and as the 49ers, have confidence now. Who would have thought that after Trey Lance, after Jimmy Garoppolo, and after, that you get to Brock Purdy and, Mr. Irrelevant, number 62 of, 262 of the 262 draft last year, Brock Purdy is going to be some sort of success. And Skylar Thompson, unfortunately, just has not gotten that point. With the crappy, and a part of my, and like I said, no disrespect to Skylar Thompson, but with the crappy performance, the game was still under by 3 points. Josh Allen didn't necessarily have a great day. He went 362, which was good numbers, 223, 23 for 29 in completions, 3 touchdowns. You think that'd be good numbers? 2 interceptions, though. Buffalo's defense, and those mistakes that they made early on helped Miami to make it into the postseason. We get to this Sunday's game, and I think people I'm hearing results and rumors out that the Bengals are projected to win, and I don't have a problem. I want the Bengals to win, but last week carries over to this week, you guys, and I'm a little nervous. And definitely every game that you get closer to the Super Bowl, and the further game that you get into, each and every week, understanding the health conditions for the Bengals, and you just get that much more nervous. Last week the nerves were about the Bengals dealing with playing the Ravens back to back. You're right. You always get nervous meeting the team 3 times, especially at the end of the season where you can see them twice or back to back games. The other thing that you were nervous about is because Tyler Huntley, who had a decent, had a pretty good performance back against the Bengals. He was a game day decision. What happened if Lamar Jackson was a game day decision and he could have played, that could have altered the whole course of the Bengals game, right? I know a lot of people, and maybe we'll address it tomorrow morning, but I know a lot of people are talking about the controversy and what's next for Lamar Jackson. But the focus is about the Bengals and the Bills this Sunday, because where my new fear right now for the Bengals is that the Bills have injuries or have problems to their, heading into this game that I think are more fixable than what the Bengals have. The Bengals are going right back, unfortunately, and I don't think it's anyone in particular's fault, but the Bengals, the Bills can fix their offensive line because they're healthy. They could, work on snap counts. They could work on protecting the quarterback and Josh Allen. They could work on pass and run. The Bengals have injuries, and last game was a clear image of where they stand at for the remainder of the season. The Bengals have to use when you have to use your defensive players just to make up for the offensive players you don't have. I think that's a problem. Okay. And coming into this Sunday's game, we're looking back at, a potential spot for Joe Burrow where if you don't keep yourself healthy and you don't keep yourself in the pocket, first to scrim, you're going to get yourself, sacked handful of times in Sunday's game. And that's my big fear. I know that there's word and rumors around Andrew Whitworth, please come back. I read a statement the other day about Andrew Whitworth. He said that, listen, my mind and my spirit wants to come back and help the Bengals, but I don't know if I could physically do that with this short period of time. At this moment, I'm going to say, hey, anything is possible, man. If you want to help, please, we're going to need all the help we could get. Here's my thing about Andrew Whitworth. I love the guy, great player, a lot of respect. If he wants to return, I say you got to do it now. You got to do it this weekend against the Bills, because I don't want to wait until don't come back at the Super Bowl. No, I just think that's a little too far out there. But come back this weekend and, hopefully, and try to help out, because anything anything can help. We need some help. I know that fans are out there, they're confident, and they're, maybe analytics saying, hey, the Bengals could pull this off. But even if the Bengals could pull off a victory against the Bills, which I am more confident in than the Bills pulling off the victory. But, like I mentioned, the Bills' problems they could fix. The Bills' problems, they don't have Von Miller. But the Bills' problems they can fix. Is the Bengals' problem without an offensive line, you guys. You don't have the run game, and you don't have the pass game. And you can't rely on the defense to carry you throughout the game. And especially when you're facing Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills, you can't rely on the last possession of the game, where you're up by a touchdown or 3 points or even 4 points, and you got to stop the Bills and Josh Allen because he can go down. I mean, the Bills had a solid, besides the 2 interceptions and that fumble recovery. All right, the Bills had an incredible offensive possession game last week. Stephon Diggs, 7 receptions, 114 yards. Gabe Davis, 6 receptions, 113 yards. Yeah, we got Apple in the backfield, but there's, but the pass rush game, the defense Bill's defense can't stop us. So which one's going to be worse? Can we stop the Buffalo Bills offense and the performance that they had last week? Because they put up 34 points. We only put up 24. We're down by 10 already heading into this game. That means our defense are going to have to step up to the plate. And yes, I think our defense is better than the Dolphins, but our defense are going to have to step up to the plate, which means, okay, our offense are going to, if the defense are stepping up and they take care of business, our offense has to take care of business. And if our offense has to take care of business, it starts with that offensive line. It starts with the line that protects Joe Burrow, that gives him 5 to 7 to 10 seconds in the pocket, avoids getting sacked every time. As I mentioned, he's one person, he could only get sacked so many times before he starts going out. They need, we thought we corrected this at the beginning of the season, and we did not. It took us a while. Okay, maybe the chemistry wasn't there, whatever you want to call it. We have bigger issues in that offensive line. And if you want to see the Joe Burrow to Mixon, Chase, or Jamar Chase to Joe Burrow relationship on Sunday, we need to provide that protection. We need to also provide the run game, because if we do happen to get out to a 24-7 lead or to a 41-0 lead, like we could, we're going to have to establish the run game still. There are 3 things to win a football game today. The run game is number 1. The defense is number 2. And your offensive line is number 3. All week long, we've been talking about Love's Not Enough, a play presented by Enlightened Studios. I would like to present you another clip of an interview that I did over this weekend, and then we'll come back and wrap up the show for the day. Please enjoy. I'm going to take this time and promote an upcoming play that is presented by Enlightened Studios, written and directed by Terry Chappelle, and that's called Love's Not Enough. That will be featuring beginning this Friday at the Fairfield Community Arts Center, 411 Wessel Drive, Fairfield, Ohio, and that is area code 45014. Love's Not Enough is assembled with a cast of seasoned actors who will tell the story about the struggles of 3 besties, Rachel, Courtney, and Carla, and their spouses. Together, they endure the conflicts of life and a dose of reality. These couples truly believe that love alone will sustain them through the difficult times in their marriage. They slowly learn through their own stubbornness that it will take more than words and feelings to keep their marriage alive. This is 100% true, except for the parts that are created for a little sense of humor and drama. Love's Not Enough shines a light on difficult subjects such as the not-so-shameful topic of male infertility, the struggles of an amputee, the exposure of deep family secrets, and overcoming pain caused by religion. Get ready to experience the roller coaster of harsh realities with moments of tear-jerkers and joyous celebrations. There will be 4 plays that will be presented starting on January 20th at 7 p.m., Saturday, January 21st, 2 p.m. and 7 p.m., and Sunday, January 22nd at 2 p.m. Now, I've been given the opportunity just to sit down with some of these cast members and talk to them and pick their brains about what it's like getting into theater. And one thing I could tell you that this has been a diverse group of men and women of all ages, from kids to adults, people with vast experience in theater to even upcoming first-time theater cast members. I highly recommend, if you guys are in the area and you guys want to check out their play. Very sensational, and it will leave you with the direct message, captivating every moment. Love's Not Enough, presented by Enlightenment Studios, written and directed by Terry Chappell II. I encourage you to head out there, check, and I hope you guys enjoy these upcoming interviews that I have on display for you. Be sure to check out all the information in the worlds of sports at the TNC Sports Talk YouTube channel. Thank you. Alrighty, we are joined here by three cast members, two cast members and a sorry, I have it here. I apologize, I'm not prepared. You are a junior production, part of the junior production team. We got Jamari, Kai, and Alayla. Did I pronounce everyone's names correctly?
Yes.
All right, thank you. I appreciate that. Well, thank you guys for taking the time and speaking with me. Is everyone doing okay? Everyone's having a good night tonight?
Yes.
Yep.
Alrighty. Well, I do want to just kind of go back and just I'll start with Jamari. We'll go down and then over to Layla, about kind of how you guys found yourself in this production, Love's Not Enough, that will be premiered January 20th to the 22nd. Just, kind of, how do you guys, find yourself, being a part of this play? We'll start off with Jamari. Sorry.
The play. Could you question one more time?
So I'm just curious in learning, how did you come across being involved into this place? Like, what happened? Saying, hey,
Oh, okay.
Part of this.
Pretty much all he did was just like talk to my mom, because I remember my mom, she was auditioning for it, and then she was like, "Oh yeah, Mr. Terry, he wants you to help out and be the manager, like the junior manager this time." And I was like, "Huh?" I was so confused, but I was scared at first because I was like, I don't want to mess up his play, but it got easier.
It's a big role that you're playing as you're part of the junior production team of this play. Kai, how did this play Love's Not?
So my mom had told me to record myself because I had a monologue that I had to do at school. So she said to record me doing that and play my cello.
Yeah.
She had told me that I had got into the play, and yeah.
Alayla?
Hmm?
How did you get involved into this play?
Well, first, he actually asked my mom if it was okay if I can be in the play, and I was actually excited for it because I didn't know what to expect, and it was really fun doing it. But also, how I really got into it was he asked my mom, and my mom asked me if I wanted to be in Terry's play, and I was happy because when I was little, I would pretend like I was acting, and it was a great opportunity to actually be in a play.
So we'll all, like I said, we should kind of just take turns. We'll go around and kind of in a circle, answer these questions to everybody. Has anyone been a part of plays before, or the production side of being in a play? Has anyone been a part of plays before, or is this everyone's first time being a part of a production like this?
First
I've been
time.
a part of a play before.
You have?
Yeah.
So just we'll start back off with Jamari. Can you kind of just share us, going through the rehearsals, what type of nerves are you feeling, and are you nervous coming up, the 20th to the 22nd, knowing that you have not one but 4 times you have to do this play?
I wouldn't say I'm nervous. I'm just more like afraid because I am gonna be like helping out with the sound and everything. So I don't want to like mess it up and then, everything be on me. But I'm also kind of excited because this is a new challenge for me. And I feel like this would give me more opportunities in the future.
I'm not really nervous. I'm excited. I'm just worried that I'll forget something or say something wrong. And then I just go silent and I'll forget my line.
I am kind of nervous, but I'm also excited at the same time for it. But it's kind of like nervous me. But I feel like sometimes, like when I'm talking, I go like really, really fast, but I also try to slow down. So it's kind of like nervous but excited about it.
Yeah, we're talking here about the upcoming play that you three are in or involved in. Kai and Layla are playing sisters to parents, right? Or Layla, I believe it says you're here, or you were adopted. For the understanding, adopted daughter, right? You guys are playing sisters to Neil and Courtney in Love's Not Enough, which will air January 20th through the 2nd at the Community Arts in Fairfield, Ohio. This is still available. So, kind of one thing I kind of want to, just you have a large crew. What type of support system has been given to you in getting ready for your roles? The crew that is that is part of the play.
Type of crew support is just amazing. I mean, like they do like a lot of, how should I put it? They do like a lot of talking sometimes, like 101. Especially Mr. Terry, like he'll be like, "Oh yeah, it's fine." He'll make like jokes for me to kind of help me like get comfortable and everything. Same thing with Miss D and Miss Nikel. They're all just such amazing people, and they really they make you feel like you're a part of a family.
People there, they're really nice towards me because they know I'm shy sometimes. So they try to include me and stuff and help me be more and look at my show. And yeah.
They're really amazing people. They're when you're like sad or something, they're always cheering you up. They have great energy and vibes. It's just really nice being there. And they're just like really there for you. If you're going through something, they're there for you and they're really helping you. They're just really amazing people, and I'm happy for like everybody in the crew. That everything is like amazing being there with them.
So the play Love's Not Enough. In your understanding, could you guys give me maybe in a sentence or two what you guys think the purpose of the meeting that you guys want to leave behind the audience after the play's done?
The purpose and the meaning for me is just like I want the audience to leave knowing that even if you're going through something, it may be the same thing that your best friend is going through or your uncle do, but through your prayers, God will to them and he will help you, whatever it is. If he may not answer right at the moment, but he will always get to you, always, and you're not struggling alone.
So what we're asking here, I don't think you got the entire question, was that after the play is done, what is the message that you believe the audience should be left with the play?
I think they have to like keep having hope and never give up on their dreams, because if they do, then the things they want to happen will not happen. And to like keep believing in God, because God can help you on a lot of things.
Like what I want them to be like left with is like when you feel like hope is up, don't forget that God can also make a miracle or wish happen for you in your life, and just don't like throw it all away. Keep it and ask God for prayers, and pretty much they should be pretty much left with knowing that hope is there and life is still continued.
So one last question I'll leave you guys off of here is, this is all your first time. I know, Jamar, you said you've done something like this before, but this is pretty much everyone's first, time experiencing being part of a play or in a production, especially ran by Terry. Does this encourage you guys? And if so, what type of influence you guys have wanting to become actresses or producers like Terry or like this coming up play, Love's Not Enough?
It does encourage me a lot actually, because I can kind of get into sort of a shell sometimes because I get nervous a lot. And I mean, this is my first time like being an assistant, like junior manager, so because I'm used to doing the acting, so this definitely encourages me to audition for more acting, but not just that, audition for production, like producing and managing sounds, because this is something I never tried before, and without Mr. Terry giving me this chance, it would have never happened.
It encouraged me to audition for more plays, and it encourages me to become a director because I see how all the directors and people are up there, and I would really like to direct my own show and write my own scripts.
It really encourages me to be doing more acting and just like doing more acting and signing up for more stuff that I thought I could never do. Like acting, I thought I could never do until Terry gave me that opportunity that I took. And now I have this great crew and everything. And I just actually love this acting. And it's really going to take me somewhere farther.
Well said. Well, Jamari, Kai, Layla, I want to thank you guys for taking the time and talking with me. I want to wish you guys the best of luck next week. The Love's Not Enough play aired January 20th through the 22nd. You guys have one play on the Friday, and you have two plays on Saturday, one at 7, and then the last one's on Sunday at 2 p.m. That's at the Community Arts Center in Fairfield, Ohio. Tickets are still available. Last questions. I'm going to leave it here. What are some ideas or plans you guys have in mind in between shows on Saturday between 2 and 7? You guys going to go do something, just hang out, or is there something planned as a team?
We haven't planned anything together yet, but it would be nice maybe for all of us to go out to eat. The only thing I have planned right now is to sleep, because I know I'm going to need the energy, and I know if I don't have the energy, I'm probably not going to be able to focus.
I'm not really gonna do anything in between. If I can, I would stay and keep going over my lines just so I don't mess up on the next show. And
I don't really have any plans, but like Jamaria said, it would be nice to actually like have us all together or go out to eat or something. But between those times, I think I would pretty much just relax, sit down and look over my lines and just waiting and be excited for the things, the play and the things that's going to come farther through me. And I just really can't wait, and it's exciting.
Well, thank you guys again. And I wish you guys the best of luck.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You guys take care.
You too.
You too.
Alrighty, that was some more cast members part of the upcoming play this weekend, January 20th through the 22nd. Love's Not Enough, presented by Enlightened Studios, written directed by Terry Chappell II. If you guys want to watch these interviews directly, you guys could head on over and check out the I will be posting these individual interviews up here a little later on this morning, as if so you guys get both on audio and video platforms there. Listen, it's been kind of a rough, I guess, morning after the news unfolding about Jay Briscoe, who passed away yesterday, involved into a car accident and died. Jamin Pugh, if I am saying that name right. So our condolences go out to the friends and families of the Briscoes. And listen, it's not an easy conversation to have. This week, this month has kind of been fulfilled through a lot of big news. Once a week, something's coming out. As we'll try to get through it again. AEW Dynamite is tonight. A couple matches we want to just kind of promote, talk your way through. Also, one of them is going to be Bryan Danielson versus Bandito. That will be live tonight. Bryan Danielson is still on the pathway of competing, getting ready for his title challenge against MJF in a couple weeks. And, it's one of those things where, okay, so let me kind of break this down to you guys in a little bit. The one reason why you love Jon Moxley so much, the one reason why you love Hangman Adam Page so much, and the one reason you love Kenny Omega so much, especially as a champion, and the one thing maybe you love AEW so much, is that their champions are well known. They win the title whether they're a face or they're a heel. They compete each and every week. And MJF is the first champion in a while, and maybe this is setting off a little bit of, a little wrong for me here, but MJF is the first person in AEW that I've seen hold the AEW World Heavyweight Championship, okay, that says, hey, listen, I'm entitled, I've proven myself, this is my title, and I'm going to defend it wherever I want to. Doesn't matter if it doesn't really matter, or I don't really care if you want a title match. You're going to do it on my terms and under my conditions. And I think maybe that has rubbed her off a little bit wrong. Now, I think a good challenge is Bryan Danielson. Bryan Danielson has been with the company. There's a lot of people that have moved to AEW that has not gotten that right push. And for a moment, okay, even if someone is having a match weekly in AEW, whether that's on Rampage or Dynamite, there is still that moment or sometimes where they don't get pushed. AEW is filled with a lot of talent, a lot of storylines going on. It is very easy to get confused watching the product, in my opinion. But and unfortunately, Daniel Bryan is one of those guys who's kind of lost in the mix. One of those guys who's kind of, he's out there, he's competing. You watch him, you see him each and every week, but sometimes you don't see him, if that makes any sense. And it's only 7:55, 5 in the morning. I'm probably not making sense so far. But Bryan Danielson is one of those guys where you don't quite, you see him in the ring, you see him competing each and every week, but you overlook him because he is not the, main story directed around him. He's just there competing and he loves to compete. And then Bryan gets put into this title match that he probably does deserve, but I guess for me, I don't know. I mean, people are, I don't know what people's reactions are. I'm not really necessarily thrilled. Okay. This is not no Moxley. Okay. Let me put it this way. Moxley and Hangman last week for me has already set the standard in matches still to come and more likely to win for Danielson and MJF. Every champion has this chance to write their own story as being champion. And, there are champions out there who who does not write the right story. And you risk being forgotten about. There are champions out there that have held the titles that you've clearly, as a wrestling fan, forgotten about because their run was not significant enough. Before MJF became champion, MJF was a household product. He was a well-known name. He was a top elite name. He still is. But the way that he's writing his title run right now, or the way that I guess AEW is writing in his title run now, in my opinion, he's not going to be remembered. You remember Hangman Page last year having the AEW champion because he had to defeat Kenny Omega, who was at the top of that mountain 2 years ago. And then he goes on and Hangman defends his title week in and week out against guys and, new stipulations and up in the ante. Then Jon Moxley does the same thing. And, even the 8-day run that CM Punk had, which I thought it was a complete, utter joke. Punk still defended his title, though. MJF is the only one that doesn't defend his title because he thinks he's entitled to it. And you know what? I just don't know if this type of storyline works for AEW because AEW is at a quick, fast-paced mode. Like they are they're quick. They keep on moving. And if you don't catch up with them, you get lost behind. There's a handful of athletes out there that with injury, with injuries and with all that stuff, everything that's going on, they get lost in the shuffle of AEW because how quickly they move. And so my thing is that when this is all said and done, when MJF is done with this title run, I'm afraid that the only thing that there's not going to be a lot to remember. You can remember the matches that Hangman had with Omega, with Moxley, with Lance Archer. Okay, there was memorable, moments. But I don't know if this Bryan Danielson is going to be in that memorable moment that the AEW championship should have. Jay Lethal will take on Orange Cassidy tonight. AEW All-Atlantic Championship title is on the line. Also, Darby will be in action defending his TNT Championship tonight against Kushida as well. All that good stuff still to come tonight. Like I said, they are going to be, I'm sure they're going to pay heavy tribute to Bandito. Young Bucks also in action, tag team action tonight. All right, it is a Wednesday. We will be back in tomorrow, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. Because it's right now it's on the schedule. But hope you guys had a good show. You guys could check out those interviews that we had today on the TNC Sports Talk YouTube channel and on all audio streaming platforms under the Throw-In. Until tomorrow, you guys take care. Thank you. You guys have a wonderful day.